reading this title alone made my hair just preemptively fall out. Hello everyone, welcome back to Cruel and Unusual Storytime. I am your host, Simon Dexter, and we are getting back into the swing of things when it comes to what kind of stories I'm reading, rather than the ones based on somewhat original monsters I've been doing the past few weeks. We're back to reading stuff based on shit that already exists. I don't know if this is a lost episode or whatever. We'll find out, I guess. This particular story was suggested to me by Mimi Mathen. Sweet Golden Freddy pick, by the by. I actually like seeing that my fans' pictures often show that we have similar interests. Like, I've got a few people with Five Nights at Freddy's pictures, and I got, like, someone with Batman Beyond, and someone with Raven from Teen Titans, and it's cool. I like knowing the people who share common interests with me take the time to watch my shit. So, I don't know too much about this, for obvious reasons, but Mimi made it very clear that this is a really shitty SpongeBob pasta. So put on your fucking seatbelts, we're going for a ride. So join me in reading Patrick's Diabetes, Part 1. Okay. Don't know if there actually is a Part 2, but if it's out, I'll read it, because I read things to the end. Okay, post number 1, November 20th, 2012. This is going to be like Happy Yappy, isn't it? Grand. Subject, prologue. Hello, my fellow readers. My name is Dave, and I don't dare myself to provide you with more information than I can offer, for security reasons. So then, let's just concentrate about the basic things of me and my hobbies. First of all, before you start criticizing the random things I happen to mention from this point, there's a reason for it. Okay, what are the reasons? I've been a computer nerd since I was only 10 years old, more than half of my life, since I've been an English nerd since I was about that age as well, so well more than half of my life. Okay, so computer nerd since he was 10 years old, and with several TV channels considered for much younger audiences, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. To be fair, there's some shit on those channels that are pretty deep, considering they're for younger viewers, like Adventure Time and Korra. Come on. I'm also improving at the correct use of artistic effects for a proper photo manipulation. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm serious. This doesn't seem to make any sense. Why would you talk about photo manipulation if you're probably going to use manipulated photos to prove it's real? Right? I'm not wrong, am I? Anyway, the second point relates to the negative content I have seen on the internet. There are far worse things to watch than this episode I'm about to share with you. I still wonder why all that disgusting pornographic content hasn't been censored at once. No, seriously, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, you don't just go for broke and just throw shit out there. You gotta explain this shit first, you know? I'm that much of a skeptical learner as a hypocrite when you realize I do believe in a God watching us up in the clouds. What the fuck am I on? I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm tripping because none of this makes any sense. Okay, continuing, resuming. Third point is that I was just another Floridan. Okay, so if you're from Florida, that makes some sense. Not to insult my Florida viewers. It's just, a stereotype. Anyway, walking somewhere over the always peaceful Avon Park. And finally, the main purpose of this blog depends on the research I'm making for a recently discovered lost episode from the popular cartoon show SpongeBob SquarePants, aka you're totally ripping off Happy Yappy that did it first. Totally different from the season it was destined to belong. When did this take place? Said nobody. After the release of what was supposed to be the complete 6th season DVD set, that taking place on November 13th, 2012. I don't feel like researching this, so I'm not gonna, cause I'm a lazy soul, I don't do no fucking researching. So then, enough introductions, it is time to confront a very dark secret one of the show's main writers, Aaron Springer, kept to himself for so long. Aaron Springer writes a lot of good stuff, if I recall. Okay, post number 2, November 24th, 2012. Scroll down, please. Thank you. Subject, no subject. From what I can remember, it was just another Saturday morning as I took a sip of coffee and I had some donuts for breakfast. This morning I turned on my computer and searched for a particular community website I worked back then. The SpongeBob SquarePants Wiki. Okay. I used to praise that series as a kid, but since time went on I decided to just get the DVDs from the first 3 seasons and the movie. The reasons? After watching this particular SpongeBob episode, Yours, Mine, and Mine, I really despised watching Patrick acting towards his best friend. This must be one of the new episodes that are really shitty and sucky, so I can understand that. My head's getting cut off severely. Can I just... There we go. If you're a SpongeBob fan and are familiar with Nickelodeon history, you will see that the series' current director, Paul Tibbitt, has changed all the roles each character had. As for Patrick himself, he made him a complete retard, mentally challenged. Try to be fucking PC on my show. Lately, in the series, either his damn fault or Aaron Springer's, that's my guess. Besides, he mostly writes terrible episodes having, for example, House Fancy. I actually didn't mind the House Fancy episode, save for the toenail bit, oh god. But the rest of the episode was actually kind of funny, in my opinion. As you might have known, SpongeBob SquarePants, or SpongeBob for short, yes, we probably have known the show if we're reading this. Don't need to explain everything. And an award-winning American animated comedy series and media franchise. He's going to really explain it, isn't he? It's on Nickelodeon's Nicktoon shows and is currently the most watched show on Nickelodeon. And it just won't fucking go away. It's about this little yellow sponge, his dumb pink starfish best friend, Patrick, his cranky squid neighbor, Squidward, who is awesome, his crustacean boss, Mr. Krabs, his squirrel friend, Sandy, his nemesis, Plankton, and his pet snail, Gary, to name a few. Yeah, if we're reading this, we probably know what SpongeBob is about, because who doesn't? SpongeBob is always going on misadventures all around his hometown Bikini Bottom. As a fan of Patrick Star, I know all about this pink starfish in the series, because Patrick Star is such a deep character, you guys. While editing his article on the Fan Wiki, I recently discovered something in the discussion page called Patrick will be diagnosed... You missed a few letters there, bud. Diagnose with diabetes. That's actually how it was stated. Okay, so maybe he was just copying what it said. That's a lame way to use it. I was surprised when I read this. It was very weird. I mean, there's no possibility that the children's TV show can ever mention diabetes. Why not? Because it's not like kids never get diabetes, right? They wouldn't want to see a character on their show suffer through the same things they're suffering through. Okay, that's a little deep, but just saying, kids get diabetes. They can know what diabetes is. That's my point here. Okay, there we go. Unless it's an educational show like Arthur. Oh, fuck you. As I clicked on the discussion page, there were only 2 usernames that commented on it. I was lucky to have these icons saved before the page was deleted. The icons were a real sponge and a starfish, which oddly came from a SpongeBob SquarePants addressed as Tea at the Tree Dome. Alright. An episode in which SpongeBob meets Sandy for the first time. There's a scene in which SpongeBob and Patrick struggle to get out of the tree dome, but are unsuccessful. When Sandy comes to give SpongeBob some tea, I'll point out she didn't know he had another friend inside her tree dome. She shrieks as she spots both Patrick and SpongeBob dried up on the grass, and the scene shows them both referencing said icons. Okay, so you gotta explain every little fucking nuance of SpongeBob to us, because that's gonna get old real fast. One of these people were called SpongeBob 101, Sponge Boy 101, obviously a male, and the other as Super Patrick Girl Fan 235, definitely a female. Wow, you could not get any more creative with those names, am I right? There were only 3 comments, one from SpongeBoy 101 and the other 2 were from Super Patrick Girl Fan 235. The pictures that you're seeing are a few of the screenshots from the discussion page I found. Sadly, it was deleted as fast as I found it, and this is all the proof I have from its existence. I'm not seeing any pictures, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I can give you the links to the wiki, but sadly I couldn't get the link for the discussion itself. I'm terribly sorry. I should note that he wrote diagnosed and morbid wrong. Here's what the thread said. I'll admit that it's kind of clever to make them write differently than you are. I'll give you that, but that's it. Because no. Okay. Here's what the thread said. I was hacking into the SpongeBob Season 6 disc and found this episode called Patrick's Diabetes. It's very morbid and depressing. Okay. 3 replies were like this. Is this true? Says Spur Patrick Girl Fan 235. So there's an actual typo, because he did not write super in completion. SpongeBoy 101 says yes. Super Patrick Girl Fan 235, this time spelled correctly, says, I don't believe you. If this is true, post it on YouTube. And also, it's never right to hack into a DVD. Oh, like no one's ever done that before. Jesus Christ, people. I decided to reply to this SpongeBob 101 username to see if the so-called episode Patrick's Diabetes was real. I sent a message which can be read like this. Hi, I am a user on this wiki. I'm just asking if this so-called episode of SpongeBob is real. If this is a troll, it ain't funny, okay? It's not even creative, so I wouldn't have fallen for it in the first place. So, whatever. You might be wondering why I haven't taken screen caps of the 2 users' profiles. I thought it was no big deal. I don't really care, because I know it's fake anyway. 2 hours had passed as I was watching YouTube for the laughs. Lol. I went back to the thread by going on my history page. As I returned to the page, the thread was deleted. I reloaded it just in case, only to find it going 404. And, the error, the page is not there deal. I sighed in frustration after this, not only for the fact that it was deleted, but it seemed it was all just a troll who got my full attention. You must feel really fucking stupid right now, am I right? As I browsed around Gmail, I found an email address, sorry about that, from an anonymous. An anonymous what? To my surprise, it was from SpongeBoy 101. I didn't want to show you these pictures because of my email identity, so I tried my best to hide it. I'd almost rather you just not make excuses, because that makes it just seem even more fake. His reply to me was, yes, it's real! Exclamation point. It's not fan-made, I promise. I could send it to you, but it's too risky. If you want to see it, come over to my house. Here's my address. Obviously, I cannot reveal his address for security. Oh, what's Nickelodeon gonna do? Kill these kids? They already killed Cora. Anyway. I could be putting myself in danger, I thought to myself. What if this guy isn't good? He could be a kidnapper. But hey, he made a bad choice as well. Besides, what kind of man gives his address to someone to see an episode of SpongeBob? Someone who wants to give you his address so he can lock you in his basement, probably. Why aren't we considering this as an option? I tried thinking about it, but my damn curiosity got the better of me, as it always does in these stupid things. I looked on Google Maps to see where he was. To my surprise, he was only a few blocks away from my house. Dun dun. Handy. I wandered the streets and find his house. He came out as soon as I knocked on his door. He looked like an average person with black hair and normal clothes, something like my age with an average size. Top flat black hair, gray eyes, boxing shorts, and a blue shirt. Who are you? He said in his gruffy voice. Aren't you one who sent me? Aren't you the one who sent me the message? I asked. So you're the one I replied to me online. No, it's a bad writer. Also, if this is a blog thing, why are you adding dialogue and narration? You're just supposed to be giving exposition, aren't you? Right? I'm not wrong. I said that twice now. He answered, well, yeah, if you're the user SpongeBoy 101 from the wiki, I replied. Also, I hate that all of his, dialogue is just squished together in one paragraph. You need to space it out a bit. It's easier to read. He then finally realized who I was. He invited me into his house, and as a show of kindness, he gave me popcorn and a soda. How polite. He asked me if I was ready to witness. I told him yes, and he showed me to his room, and then showed me his wiener. Not really. Damn it. Okay. living room. His house was small, though. The living room was a rotund mess. Yet another word I have not heard of. There was multiple stains on the floor and couch. The kitchens all looked sloppy. There was an overload. Trash was overloaded with rotten food and beer. The plates were dirty, and the sink was rusted and full of dirty water. Green, dirty water. Even his bedroom was all, well, messy. The bed was jacked up, the room was hot, and a bit of wallpaper was peeled off. I'm sure he appreciates you telling the whole world how poor he is. He took out a USB out of his drawer and said, "Right here. Behold, the legendary lost episode of SpongeBob." People don't talk like that. I don't care how young you are. I was so excited, but also scared. I asked him if he was really sure this wasn't a fan-made video. "No, man. This is literally made from Nickelodeon." This is literally made from Nickelodeon? Why do you do this to me? Not how words work. I then asked him why he deleted his thread on the SpongeBob wiki. My question seemed to have tensed him slightly. His expression changed in that of a serious case. "Don't tell anyone. I illegally hacked into DVD to replace them with porn, and sold them just to make a living. Look, I'm a little broke, and I need the money. My boss fired me after I asked him to give me a raise, and after I posted that thread on a few hours ago, I actually got a message from the FBI asking if I was kidding. I told them not and deleted the thread quickly. I believe the FBI are onto me now." The FBI would not give a shit about your little porn thing. Not one bit. Not even the slightest speck on their radar. And I dropped what I was playing with. Oh well. Okay. I was shocked about what he told me, but I didn't mind. Why would the FBI message him? Not that they did something that serious, did he? Well, yeah, hacking into DVD is illegal. It really isn't. Well, it probably is, but it's not. Is it illegal? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. It doesn't sound like that big of a deal to me. How the hell do you think you find in shit? I calmly asked if he could put the episode on a DVD so we could see it, but he said he already did, and that the USB holds a .avi copy of it. I was prepared to see the horrifying episode that Nickelodeon had forbidden from us. Patrick's diabetes. 3 p.m. Subject, no subject. Why do you keep adding a subject if you're never going to add a fucking subject? The episode began with a catchy jingle of the theme, the pirate singing and SpongeBob dancing during the theme. Nothing has changed in the intro except for one line near the end. When the singer chanted the final part of the lyrics, it went like this. The SpongeBob SquarePants special. I don't remember how the theme goes at all. It's been a few years. So I'm not even going to try and embarrass myself and sing that. Pardon me. The screen then faded to black, and a white screen appeared on screen. On the white background was a cursive words reading, "And now America's favorite pirate, Patchy the Pirate." I love Patchy. He is funny. There was a narrator reading it, but it seemed to be cut out from Christmas Who. Okay. And it seemed to be edited, cutting out some of the parts of the narrator to read what's on the screen. Since I already knew it was going to show a Patchy segment, I wasn't expecting this kind of sketch. It then cuts to what seems to be a VHS camcorder focusing, showing a white couch and a peachy white color wall on a light brown carpet, and the camera finally focused on a person wearing a pirate costume appeared on screen. Okay. This person's English is just atrocious. I can't read this shit without sounding like an idiot. Okay. Walking in a peg leg style. At first I was convinced that the actor in the pirate costume was actually not Patchy, not a single bit. Well, it's Tom Kenny, so if it has anything to do with SpongeBob, I'm assuming he would be Patchy. The costume seemed cheaper than the real one. The patch was normal, but the pirate hat was just plain black baseball cap with a white skull. His beard seemed faker than ever. Well, his beard always looked fake. He wore a black pirate shirt and pants and had a normal belt. He had a pirate hook, right boot, and a left peg leg. While he did have a left leg, he bent his leg and placed the peg leg. God, none of this is matching up with my mouth good. Another thing that was surprising was that the actor wasn't even Tom Kenny. Hell, he wasn't even any kind of celebrity that I can identify. Not even his voice matched the real Patchy's voice. So, this is probably led to believe that this isn't real. Because why wouldn't Tom Kenny be doing it? His voice is actually a bit gruffier, but high-pitched, with his throat scratch. I'm not even going to bother trying that voice because it'll just fuck my throat up. Oh, hello there, children. I'm Patchy the Pirate, and I love SpongeBob. As he is Patchy, he does love SpongeBob. He said on the left corner of the camera in a parrot puppet, supposedly Potty. Is his name Potty? I thought it was... Yeah, I think it's Potty. But like Patchy, his appearance looked a lot cheaper than his real self, even though his real puppet wasn't exactly fucking next gen. That makes no sense because he's a puppet, but whatever. The parrot had his body as a toilet roll painted green and a yellow paper oval on his stomach. His head had a green painted circle of styrofoam attached with a green pipe cleaner, googly-eyed, and a feather... Well, his eyes are googly eyes anyway, aren't they? A feather of the foam yellow beak glued on the face. Green painted triangular cardboard wings and several colored feathers at the end, yellow pipe cleaner feet, and strings attached to some pop stick. Oh God, could you explain this in any further detail? Squawk! I'm Potty the Parrot, Potty said. Of course you are, and you pain in the neck. Oh, of course you are, you pain in the neck. Now get out of here, you squeaky dodo bird, Patchy said as Potty flew away. Another weird thing from the special... See, they do the... Never mind. Get to it later. From the special, when recording, it sounded a bit muffled and grainy. This whoosh Potty made as he flew sounded in a higher quality than the entire sketch. Hey kids, tonight's a special night, because tonight is the real lost episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. Rather than, that fake flying one. That wasn't good at all. Patchy said the following should be then said the following showed the same stock footage of the pirate saying hooray from the sponge who could fly. Potty flew back into the scene. Oh boy, this is gonna be lame. Arr, zip your beak, you blasted bird. Or need to shop off your beak. Okay. Patchy said as Potty flew away. Well, roll the cartoon. It's not how you spell roll. It's O-R-O-L-L, not R-O-L-E. A role is what Patchy's playing. Tom Kenny plays the role of Patchy. That's what you're fucking up here. Patchy says the cartoon finally played. I really didn't find the Patchy really interesting, which is why I wrote this quickly. Yeah, you wrote this quickly and described every single nuance and detail of the particular costume and set piece. Okay, 4:25 p.m. Subject Act 1, The Incident. The episode started with a rather dark tune of music that strangely sounded like a mix of The Hive and The Aftermath, both composed by Kevin MacLeod. Pretty sure I didn't say that right. As for the title card itself, it perfectly matched the soundtrack. There was a title with an animated heart rate monitor in the background with no storyboard by or written by credits following. As the title card ended, the heart rate monitor went flat and the logo faded away. The bubble transmission, are you seriously? It's transition yet. Oh, God. Then happened, marking the beginning of a new episode. Surprisingly, the episode's quality was animated in the same style as the first movie, mixing with the, in that time, actual season. Very high quality, but with still slightly poorer animation, as we saw it on the first season. I liked the early season's animation. We started out on the familiar Bikini Atoll Island. What? Bikini Atoll? What the fuck is that? It seemed that it was morning due to the sky being a pinkish orange like an SB-129. Oh, I love that episode. The peaceful Hawaiian music plays as the camera submerges underwater and it pans down into Bikini Bottom. Oh, it's the island on the surface. I'm so dumb. Anyway. And we showing a little clam doing a rooster crowing like in the movie. Clams do that more than just in the movie, you know. The scene then pans down to Bikini Bottom to the Krusty Krab. We're at the Krusty Krab at the jolly old tune of the restaurant. The camera zooms past into the glass, showing the inside of the restaurant. Mr. Krabs is being his normal cheap and selfish self as he sniffles and crawls on the ground for money. Yeah, pretty standard. Squidward's cranky and lazy as usual as he dozed off. SpongeBob was making Krabby Patties at the grill and Patrick was on the table waiting for his order. SpongeBob bashed the door open, waking up Squidward at the moment, and served his friend's meal. Patrick quickly ate it, got up, and left the Krusty Krab. No audio was heard in the scene, only a pile of mumbles and the grill sizzling sounds in the background, almost ending as if there were a real diner. We're in a real diner moment. Okay, whatever. Even though you just said that the music was playing a second ago, but whatever, we'll ignore that. The camera cuts to the outside of the restaurant where Patrick opens the front door and walks away. It then cuts to the side of Patrick walking down an empty road as the music suddenly stops. There was something odd that I noticed when Patrick walked down the road. There was a bus stop sign and a bench showing an anchovy. Is that how anchovy is spelled? I've never actually needed to spell anchovy before, so I couldn't tell you. Reading a newspaper. When the background objects, sorry, that was my bad, slide to the right side of the screen, when the background object slid to the right side of the screen when Patrick walked by. That makes no sense. The screen froze for a split second and the background replayed the same scene. This goes on for a few times, about 2 minutes, until something new happened. This is just ridiculous. Patrick slowly stops walking and starts taking heavy breaths, his chest swelling in and out from his heavy breath. For background and what is heard. I'm reading this as it was written, god damn it. And what is heard, a heartbeat sound. He starts getting weaker and crawls on the floor, panting. He coughs and sputters, then stands up weakly, and weakly walks back to the Krusty Krab. The same shot that showed Patrick leaving the restaurant is shown again, except he goes inside the Krusty Krab. It then showed Patrick leaning on an empty table, as SpongeBob walked up to him holding him up. I can't do SpongeBob's voice, so don't ask me. "Patrick, what's the matter?" he worriedly asked, the first character to speak in the entire episode. Patrick moaned extremely deep, and a disturbing stomach growling sound was heard. Before he knew it, Patrick vomited. He then suddenly slipped on his own vomit, hit his head on a table, and fell to the ground motionless. "Oh God, no! He wouldn't say that because it's a kid's show. I've talked about this in my other story," shouted SpongeBob. All the customers were all shocked and crowded over the seemingly inert starfish. Mr. Krabs and Squid were joining them in the act. The camera showed an aerial view of the crowd circling Patrick as SpongeBob tried to wake up his fallen comrade. Patrick, wake up, wake up!" SpongeBob yelled as his voice faded to a low, distorted echo to then fade into black. I was a bit surprised at first at the fact that Patrick's vomited was a bit graphic. Then was digested food all over the place, a mixture of bloodied brown and green, with small food chunks of meat and a small cartoon bone, blah blah blah, and even a purple cartoon sock, possibly to brighten the mood. Doubtful, because it makes no sense anyway. Even though it looked a bit real, I never meant it was hyper realistic. If any of you know the Annoying Orange or seen the popular YouTube video, you know the most used program, After Effects, in the video. Another thing is that SpongeBob series never mentioned any religious stuff, despite the fact that Nickelodeon did use the themes in the Ren and Stimpy show. Yeah, Nickelodeon acts weirdly when they have to interpret social problems for a younger audience. Resuming. None of that made sense. Like, what the hell did Annoying Orange have to do with anything? I'm assuming you're talking about the religious thing because I said God. Because, yeah, they wouldn't anyway. And Ren and Stimpy kind of was slightly meant for adults, but that's beside the point. Now, let's resume. I'm not getting any younger here. Okay. The scene remained black for about 8 seconds until I heard the sound of the ambulance sirens. I mean ambulance, because ambulette, I don't know what that is. A scene similar to the movie had started to run. The Krusty Krab has been surrounded with police. Tape and helicopters hover over the restaurant. He just passed out. They wouldn't need this much, I'm sure you. Camera pans to Mr. Krabs surrounded by news reporters. "Please settle down. We've got a situation in there, and I really don't want to panic more than I already do," he said. The camera pans to the bottom left corner, and the scene changes into a first-person camera view with a camera frame around the corner of the screen. What's now showing is an unnamed woman fish with Perch Perkins, another reporter. Oh yeah, I remember Perch Perkins. Holding a microphone, talking to the Bikini Bottom news camera. The cameraman is off screen. Here's the dialogue of the event. Okay. try to do this to my best. I don't remember how Perch Perkins talks, but I'll just do my best here. Okay, woman reporter. We're now live. Correct that for you. At the Krusty Krab, where a disturbing event has happened during a peaceful meal inside the restaurant. Perch Perkins. Brace yourselves, people. This is now live in scene. Johnny Arain, the realistic fish head, slides across the screen from the left. Oh, I love Johnny Arain. He's funny. Live in scene, people. Johnny slides away from the screen as the two reporters squeeze and pushes through he spelled crowd wrong. Push through the crowd to Mr. Krabs. The scene still shows in camera view. Okay, Perch Perkins. So, Mr. Krabs, any information about the victim? He passed out. They just would have gotten an ambulance. This wouldn't be that big of a deal. Multiple microphones appear around Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs is speaking gibberish. I'm not going to bother. Unnamed woman fish reporter. Mr. K, what is your feelings about this event? Mr. Krabs is speaking more gibberish. Okay, Perch Perkins. Has it ever happened at the Krusty Krab? Begins foaming at the mouth. His face made the same expression as in Squeaky Boots. You're just using elements from other shows to explain your shit. That means you're just being as lazy as they are. Okay, SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs, Mr. Krabs. How's Patrick doing? Okay. Mr. Krabs writhes and screams, knocking out multiple microphones around him. Ask Mr. Squidward. Oh, for God's sakes. Mr. Krabs runs off screen to the right, screaming, and Squidward is seen behind Mr. Krabs. He laughs nervously for a few seconds until red and blue glowing lights start to come from the left. The camera quickly pans to the left, showing the large crowd moving out of the way of the ambulance and police trucks. Multiple news helicopters fly over the sky, causing some sand to hit the camera. The scene cuts to a bird-eye view of the event. There was a giant crowd. There were giant crowds. Never mind, I'm dumb. Ambulance trucks in the building. It cuts to the front view of the restaurant, where several policemen secure the restaurant, and one of them shouting, "Back off, back off. This is an emergency situation. Calm down, calm down." You know, for someone who's probably only seen this episode once, you sure have it memorized front to back, don't you? As he waves his arms to the back of the reporters and curious citizens, a giant helicopter the size of the Krusty Krab hovers over the Krusty Krab. It then opens the bottom hatch, leading a rope ladder rolling down with three fish sliding down the ladder. I am going to lose my mind. He just doesn't stop. It then cuts to a view of the Krusty Krab ceiling where three paramedics crash through it and land on the ground several cartoonish ways. Two of them are male, and the third one was female. One man was brown and the other was green, while the woman was purple. You could just say she's the woman, because that will help. The paramedics wore white hospital suits and red small cup-like hats. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Okay. Brown paramedic fish. Thanks, Johnny. Camera cuts to helicopter Johnny. The realistic head fish is poking in out of the window. Anytime, says Johnny Arain. Purple paramedic fish. Till he gets up to help the third hospital fish. Here, 3TH, third. It's the third. God damn it. Okay. There he is, points to Patrick. Patrick's lying on the ground motionless as the camera pans to him. His position is similar to the health inspector from the Nasty Patty. Again. Just using things from other episodes. Dear Jesus. He's also in a still paint scene form, like in some SpongeBob episodes. The three of them head to Patrick as the brown paramedic fish gets crushed by something. His hand pokes out and said in a weak voice, "A little help." Okay, green paramedic fish helps put a breathing mask on Patrick's mouth as the purple paramedic fish carries Patrick's head up for him to breathe. Oh, sorry. Two paramedics help with their companion. The object that landed on the brown paramedic was a stretcher. They carry Patrick to said stretcher and put it out of the restaurant, breaking the entrance door. Brown paramedic, "Where now, sir? I suggest the van. Are you kidding me? Haven't you seen the traffic jam?" Stock image of traffic is shown with a car horn. How about the helicopter? So be it then. The car then drove into the scene. It was Patrick's parents, even though they probably weren't really his parents again. "Oh, baby, what happened?" his mother asked. "No time to explain, woman." Okay, why aren't their lines written in script form? They're written like normal dialogue that's happening in a story form. Everyone else was written in script form, except for that. What the fuck? No time to explain, woman, one of the paramedics said. The helicopter then floats down to the ground. To the ground. To the ground. To the ground. Ground, damn it. Opening a door. 3 paramedics goes inside the helicopter to then fly away. The final scene of this weird introduction of the episode was camera flashes appeared until a loud camera flash changes. Charge started to rise from the crowd, filling the screen with white, a bit bright. I can't read. I just can't. It then faded to pitch black after that, starting a new scene. Is this almost over? Please tell me it is. Oh god, no. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna save this for next time. This has gone on way too long, so this is just gonna be part 1 of part 1. So, we'll resume later. Because this is way too long. I'm not going to be able to finish this. The next episode is going to be a little shorter. That's fine. That's whatever. So, hope you all enjoyed this. We'll resume this next time. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Mimi Mathens, for the suggestion. I will be resuming next week. I'll see you all on Sunday for some fan fiction. Resuming in unknown clutches. Until then, my friends, see you all real soon.